This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
I'm back, and it's Friday, and I'm so excited to be here. I am Brittany Page. I am filling in for Jesse as he recovers from his colon cancer surgery. Most of you know, hopefully, that Jesse had surgery for his colon cancer on Wednesday. He is still in the hospital, still recovering. He's doing well, and we will keep you posted on how he's doing, how that recovery is going, and when he gets out of the hospital. So you can feel free to follow Jesse on social media at Dollemore on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow me at Brittany Page on Twitter and Instagram. And I just want to say thank you so much for the positivity, the compassion, the support that you have shown for Jesse as he goes through this very difficult colon cancer situation. And thank you for the support of me as well in the comments. I'm just so grateful. I mean, it's very evident that Jesse has built an audience that is kind and compassionate and passionate about important topics and issues, and that you want to keep these conversations going even in Jesse's absence. So thank you so much for your support. I know he appreciates it. I appreciate it. So I just want to start this by saying thank you. Now let's get into Mike Pence news. So Mike Pence was asked whether or not he would support and vote for Donald Hang Mike Pence Trump. And he decided to play it cute instead of actually speaking directly about how serious it is that Donald Trump attempted to subvert our democracy and that he is an authoritarian. Instead of really speaking about the problem at hand with Donald Trump, Mike Pence decided to play it cute and tease his own possible presidential run. Watch this.
If Donald Trump is the Republican nominee for president in 2024, will you vote for him?
Well, there might be somebody else I'd prefer more. You know, what I can tell you is I have every confidence that the Republican Party is going to sort out leadership. All my focus has been on the midterm elections, and it'll stay that way for the next 20 days. But after that, we'll be thinking about the future, ours and the nation's, and I'll keep you posted, okay?
So what exactly is Mike Pence waiting for? I mean, he wants to apparently distinguish himself as separate from Donald Trump, and yet he's not actually doing that. He wants to dance around condemning Donald Trump and his behavior and his actions and hold out a possible presidential run. Maybe he's waiting for the release of his book, which is coming out in November, like journalists like to do, and they hang on to that important reporting about the terrible things that Donald Trump has done because they need to sell a book. Apparently that's what Mike Pence is doing right now as well. But I mean, if he can't condemn Donald Trump for the sake of the country and trying to fight back against the threat to democracy that is the current Republican Party, let's remind him and possibly activate the personal animus that he might have for Donald Trump. You remember when Cassidy Hutchinson, the assistant to Mark Meadows, testified before the January 6th committee and discussed the specific conversation between Mark Meadows, the former White House chief of staff, and Pat Cipollone, the former White House counsel, on January 6th when they were discussing the chance of Hang Mike Pence that the insurrectionists were joyfully screaming as they were storming the Capitol. Well, let's remind Mike Pence and hopefully activate that personal animus. Here's Cassidy Hutchinson, just as a reminder, recounting a conversation between Mark Meadows and Pat Cipollone on January 6th.
I remember Pat saying something to the effect of, "Mark, we need to do something more. They're literally calling for the vice president to be effing hung." And Mark had responded something to the effect of, "You heard him, Pat. He thinks Mike deserves it. He doesn't think they're doing anything wrong."
You heard him, Pat. He thinks Mike deserves it. He doesn't think they're doing anything wrong. Mike Pence apparently doesn't care about this. Remember when Donald Trump said, if Mike Pence does the right thing, we win the election? Remember when he said, all Vice President Pence has to do is send it back to the states to recertify and we become president and you are the happiest people? Even though the vice president doesn't have that power. It doesn't matter to Donald Trump, and the January 6th committee made this perfectly clear when they tied Donald Trump's tweet on January 6th about Mike Pence directly to those chants to hang Mike Pence on January 6th during the insurrection.
Without objection, the chair declares the House in recess pursuant to Clause 12B of Rule 1.
Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution, giving states a chance to certify a corrected set of facts, not the fraudulent or inaccurate ones which they were asked to previously certify. U.S. demands the truth. Bring out Pence! Bring out Pence! Bring out Pence!
And so my question is, who is Mike Pence trying to appeal to with this playing cute? He wants to try to distinguish himself as different from Donald Trump, but isn't going so far as to say anything negative about Donald Trump. And maybe that's because he sees the writing on the wall in the Republican Party. Because most Republicans actually believe the big lie. According to data from the Public Religion Research Institute, while less than 3 in 10 Americans, 29%, agree with the statement that the 2020 election was stolen from Donald Trump, 2/3 of Republicans, 66%, agree that the election was stolen, whether they completely agree or mostly agree. We're also seeing that hundreds of Republican candidates have questioned the election or have spread misinformation about the election, and 538 has some data on this too. They have found that 60% of Americans will have an election denier on the ballot this fall, whether it's a governor, a senator, a secretary of state, or an attorney general. And this is from their reporting. There are a lot of election deniers on the ballot. Out of 552 total Republican nominees running for office, we found 199 who fully denied the legitimacy of the 2020 election. These candidates either clearly stated that the election was stolen from Trump or took legal action to overturn the results, such as voting not to certify election results or joining lawsuits that sought to overturn the election. Moreover, an additional 61 candidates raised questions around the results of the 2020 election. These candidates haven't gone so far as to say explicitly that the election was stolen or take legal action to overturn it. However, they haven't said the election was legitimate either. In fact, they have raised doubts about potential fraud. So where do Republicans go from here with this growing consensus in the Republican Party if they don't fight back, which we're not seeing from Mike Pence, even though he wants to try to dance around that he's going to be an alternative to Trump? I mean, maybe they see the writing on the wall. What happened to Liz Cheney, for example, as being removed from the chair of the House of the Republican Conference or losing her bid for reelection? Or what has happened to any of the Republicans who supported Donald Trump's impeachment and them either choosing not to run for reelection or losing their reelection? Because people in the Republican Party, the majority, believe the big lie. So what is Mike Pence planning to do? He wants to have it both ways. He wants to show himself as an alternative to Trump without upsetting the party that is a threat to democracy. What's his plan? Does anyone believe that he's actually an alternative to Trump? So far, he's not showing it. Maybe Mr. Play It Cute will stop playing it cute when it's time to sell his book. That's when he'll come out really strong. Next month, when he's trying to sell his book, he'll come out super strong against Donald Trump. That's my prediction. What do you guys think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave a message, 714-576-4054, or you can email us at daily@dollemore.com. Please connect with me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Brittany E. Page. Don't forget to follow Jesse at Dollemore on Twitter and Instagram. We so appreciate you and your support. If you appreciate us and what we do here, we would invite you to support the channel by clicking the button below to join and become a channel member for as low as $2 a month. It goes a long way to support what we do here, and as Jesse would say, he's out sick, he doesn't have sick days, so we're keeping the content rolling for you guys, and we're keeping the conversation going, and hopefully you appreciate that. You can also join Patreon, which supports our podcast, I Doubt It Podcast, as well as the YouTube channel. That is patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Again, thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. I look forward to continuing these conversations with you and hearing what you guys think. As Jesse would say, be genuine and take care of one another.